Hello again. In this video I want to show you how to create additional methods, that is sort of custom commands that an object will obey. But before I do that, I want to show you a couple of tricks. This is the spider robot where we left off last time, and let's just show you quickly what it does. And steps toward the alien. I'm getting tired of watching that dialogue all the time, so one thing I could do is just remove these commands, but typically you'll be developing a program and you'll be focusing on one part and you want to bring this part back. So if you right click on a command, you can disable it, and that will leave it in place, and you can then turn it back on later. So if we run this, it runs just as before except without the dialogue. And an even better thing you could do then, let's re-enable these commands, would be to package it in a do in order box. Move them in there. And then we can just disable the whole thing. Okay, so, oh, and there's actually another thing you can do, and that is you can transform a do in order clause to a do together clause. So we can just change the type here. Let's move it back where we can see it. I don't know why it moves over like that. And then if we run this, we can see that they're talking while they're turning. So let's change this back the way it was. And then disable this. And then it won't take so long when we test. And let's close this up to get it out of the way, because we won't be dealing with it here. Now, suppose we wanted to, well, we've already taught our robot to walk, but what if we made a command out of it? So let's create a new method for the spider robot by clicking here, and we'll call this method walk. And a new tab opens up so that we can work on this code as opposed to the world method over here. Now, we've already written the code, so can we move it to the new method? Well, as a matter of fact, we can. And you may have noticed this brown square up here. This is a clipboard. And we can drag and drop what Alice calls a tile. Any one thing you can drag around is called a tile, and then these things have subtiles. But we dragged this do together block up here, and we actually made a copy of it, and now we can take what's in the clipboard and drag it down and put it in here. Okay, now having done that, we can just get rid of this block. We'll just drag it to the garbage can, and now we'll just put this method walk over here. And when we execute it, it will see this walk command and it will do this code. At least I hope so. Let's try it. Yep, just as before it did it. Now let's see if we can make this method more flexible. Can we, instead of having just one behavior when we ask it to walk, can we tell it how many steps to take? Well, as a matter of fact, we can. We can add something called a parameter. and we do that by clicking here, and we'll call this parameter how many steps. And there are a number of types of parameters you can choose. This time we'll just make it a number. And by the way, this practice of showing where words are divided by capitalization is called camel case. That's like the animal with the hump, camel case. And I like it rather better than underscores because it makes the typing easier. Okay, there's our parameter. And where should we put how many steps? Well, how about the number of times this loop executes? So instead of saying 2 times, we can drag the parameter down here, and the loop will loop how many steps times. Okay, and if we go back here, our new method looks different. The parameter is showing up here, and it prompts us for how many. So to keep it consistent with what we did before, let's set that parameter to 2. And so now if we run it, we should see no change in behavior. So let's see if that happens. And it takes 2 steps as before. Okay, let's see what happens if we change this. Let's tell it to take 4 steps. Click OK. Let's run it. Okay, well, the timing was off here. It took 2 steps while it was moving and then 2 steps afterward. So how can we improve that? We can improve that by tying some of the other behavior to the parameter. Actually, to keep this video from getting too long, we'll stop here and continue in the next installment.